Hello everyone. Today we will learn about the ribs. Ribs, they are flat bone, ribbon like, elastic bony arches. It has a two end, anterior and posterior end. Anterior end of the ribs, it's articulate with the costal cartilage. So ribs plus costal cartilage combined together known as a costa. It's a costa. Usually number wise it's a 12 pair. It's a 12 pair. So 12 ribs on each side. Now let's see the arrangement and general outline, how it is arranged. Between the two consecutive ribs there is a space that is known as the intercostal space. Gradually from first rib to the 12th rib, from first rib to the 12th rib, the length of the rib it is gradually increased. So from the first rib up to the 7th rib, the length of the ribs is gradually increased. So the 7th rib is the longest rib. Now the transverse diameter of the thorax, it again gradually increased from the first rib up to the 8th rib. So the 8th rib, it is the greatest lateral projection. 8th rib, it has a greatest lateral projection. After that it is gradually decreased. Now each and every ribs, it is a oblique. It's a oblique. So obliquity wise, the obliquity of the ribs, it is gradually increased from first rib up to the 9th rib. So you can say that 9th rib is a most obliquely placed rib. 9th rib is a most obliquely placed rib. So I will again repeat, the 7th rib is the longest rib. 8, it is the greatest lateral projection. And the 9th rib, it has a highest obliquity, or you can say that 9th rib is a most obliquely placed rib. Okay. Now the classification of the ribs. According to the features wise, there are typical and atypical ribs. Typical ribs means the same features. That is the typical ribs. And atypical ribs means the different features are there. So 3 to 9 ribs are typical ribs, and first, second, 10th, 11th and 12th ribs are atypical ribs. So that is the features wise. After that, articulation wise, according to the articulation, some ribs are known as a vertebrosternal ribs. That means posterior end of the ribs, it is articulate with the vertebra. Posterior end, and anterior end of the ribs, that is articulate with the sternum. So vertebrosternal ribs. So first to 7th ribs are vertebrosternal ribs. Then second variety is vertebrochondral ribs. After the 7th ribs, 8th, 9th and 10th ribs are vertebrochondral ribs. That means anterior end of the 8th, 9th and 10th ribs, it is articulate with the corresponding one higher chondral cartilage or the costal cartilage, that is known as the vertebrochondral ribs. And last two ribs, that is 11th and 12th ribs, only the posterior end of the 11th and 12th ribs are attached to the vertebra and anterior ends are free. So it's known as only vertebral ribs or floating ribs. Now the third variety of the classification, according to the relation with the sternum. First to 7th ribs are true ribs because it is attached to the sternum. Anterior end is attached to the sternum. And 8 to the 12th ribs are false ribs because it is not attached to the sternum. So these are the basic three classification wise, according to the features, according to the articulation and according to the relation with the sternum. Now let's start with the typical ribs. So one by one we have to learn today which are the typical, which are the atypical ribs. So first one, that is the typical ribs. Now it has an anterior end and posterior end. Anterior end, that is articulate with the costal cartilage or the chondral cartilage. Posterior end, it has a head, neck and tubercle. Head, neck and tubercle. And the shaft, the longest part, that is the shaft. It is a curved part or it is a twisted part. Now head, neck and tubercle. Head, it has a two articulated facet, larger lower articulated facet and smaller upper articulated facet. Larger lower articulated facet, it articulate with the corresponding same vertebra. After that, this one is the neck. It has upper border and lower border, anterior surface and posterior surface. Now this neck, it is related with the transverse process of the corresponding same thoracic vertebra. After that, the posterior end, it has a tubercle. Now again, tubercle has a two part, medial part, that is articular part, and lateral part, that is non-articular part. Medial articular part, it is articulated with the facet that is present on the transverse process of the same corresponding thoracic vertebra. Lateral non-articular part, it is provides only the attachment of the ligaments. Now let's see how it is articulate with the corresponding vertebra. This one is the thoracic vertebra. Now thoracic vertebra has a demifacets. On each side of the body, it has a demifacet, upper demifacet and lower demifacet, upper larger, lower smaller demifacet. Now today's topic is ribs, and head of the ribs, typical ribs, it has a larger lower facet that articulate with the corresponding same thoracic vertebra. Let's try. See this one is the larger lower facet that articulate with the corresponding same thoracic vertebra, and it articulate with the upper demifacet. Okay, upper demifacet and smaller, see here, and the smaller articular facet of the head of the typical ribs that articulate with the next higher thoracic vertebra. Neck of the typical ribs, it is related with the transverse process, and the articular part of the tubercle of the ribs that articulate with the facet that is present on the transverse process, tip of the transverse process. So how the articulation form between the ribs and the thoracic vertebra? It's like this. Posterior end, anterior end, posterior end. Head has a larger lower facet and upper smaller facet. Larger lower facet articulate with the corresponding same thoracic vertebra, and smaller upper facet articulate with the next higher vertebra. Okay, so after the posterior end, this one is the shaft. Now shaft has a upper thick border and lower sharp border. It has a two surface, inner surface and outer surface. It has a posterior angle. Posterior angle is about just 5 cm away from the tubercle of the ribs. From here, the twisted portion of the typical rib is started. Now the upper thick border, it has a outer lip and inner lip. Outer lip provides the attachment of external intercostal muscle. And inner lip provides the attachment of internal intercostal muscles. Along with the intercostal intimis. Intercostalis intimis, that is the muscle of the thoracic wall. Intercostalis intimis. Okay. Sharp lower border. This one is the sharp lower border that provides the origin of external intercostal muscle. After the border, surface is wise, inner surface and outer surface. Now see the inner surface, the characteristic features of the inner surface of the typical rib. Now inner surface have a costal groove. In a lower part of the inner surface, it has a shallow costal groove. Now this shallow costal groove that lodges the three structure, that is intercostal vein from above downwards. First structure, that is intercostal vein, then intercostal artery and intercostal nerve. So again one structure from above downwards, this costal groove that lodges the one structure. One means intercostal vein, intercostal artery and intercostal nerve. Okay, and the floor of this costal groove that provides the attachment of internal intercostal muscles, and the upper border of this costal groove that provides the origin, or you can say the attachment of intercostalis intimis muscle. intercostalis intimis muscle. So this is all about the surface of the typical ribs. Now how to do the side determination of these typical ribs? We already know that anterior end is a broad and that provides the attachment of the costal cartilage. Posterior end, it has a head, neck and tubercle. Okay, now the shaft, it has a two-part, outer convexity, inner concave part, and inner part have a costal groove. That is the characteristic of the inner surface, and inner lower part has a costal groove. Upper border of the shaft, it is a thick and broad, and lower border of the shaft, it is a prominent and sharp. It is a prominent and sharp. So we can easily do the side determination of this typical rib. So this one is the right sided typical ribs. Okay, so this is all about the ribs, and this one is the angle of the ribs, and this one is the angle of the ribs. So attachment wise and features wise, this is all about the typical ribs. Now let's see one by one which are the features of the atypical ribs. Atypical ribs. So starting with this first rib. Okay, this one is the first rib. It one is the shortest and broadest rib. Okay, head has a single facet. Anterior end, that is again broad. Now this first rib's characteristic features of this first rib is it has only two surfaces, upper surface and lower surface, because it is compressed from above downwards. So it has an upper surface and lower surface, and border wise outer border and inner border. Outer border and inner border. Now characteristic features of this upper surface and lower surface is the upper surface which have a upper surface with this inner border have one tubercle, that is the scalene tubercle. Scalene tubercle, and this upper surface, it is divided in upper surface have a characteristic of the two shallow groove which is divided by one faint ridge. So this two shallow groove just anterior to this faint ridge and posterior to this faint ridge, the two shallow groove is the characteristic feature of the upper surface of the first rib, and the lower surface is a uniform and it's a smooth. There is no any characteristic of the lower surface. So how to do the side determination? So side determination of the first rib, it is done by this characteristic of the upper surface, because it has a two shallow groove anterior and posterior to this faint ridge, which is again separated by the scalene tubercle. Okay, so this one is the right sided first rib. One trick for the student point of view, whenever you place it wrong as a side determination point of view, see that both the end does not touch the table or does not touch the surface. That means both the end of the first rib, it is in the same plane in a truly placed side determination wise. So that is a trick for the student only. This is a wrongly placed, so it is a not left sided. This one is the right sided. Okay, right sided. Anterior end, posterior end, superior surface, characteristic of the superior surface. Okay, attachment wise, there are so many important attachment wise. Let's see this picture. Attachment wise, head, neck, tubercle coincide with the angle of the first rib. There is no separate angle in a first rib. So which are the structure passing from the shallow groove and which are the attachment wise? That is important Viva question point of view also. Now see this, the shallow groove which that two separated by one faint transverse ridge. So anterior to that transverse ridge, the anterior shallow groove, it will transmit or it lodges the subclavian vein. Posterior shallow groove, it will transmit the subclavian artery and lower trunk of the brachial plexus. Subclavian artery and lower trunk of the brachial plexus. So these are the important structure that is relation wise or transmit wide from the anterior shallow groove and posterior shallow groove. Scalene tubercle itself. Scalene tubercle that provides the attachment of scalenus anterior muscle. Scalene tubercle, scalenus anterior muscle. Now come to the posterior area, posterior to the posterior shallow groove, the outer border of the first rib that provides the attachment of one muscle, that is serratus anterior, first digitation of the serratus anterior, and the remaining superior surface of the shaft that provides the scalenus medius muscle. Now next, relations wise, this is the neck of the first rib. Anterior relations of the neck of the first rib, there are four structures that is anteriorly related to the neck of the first rib. Let's see which are the four structures anteriorly related to the first rib. First one from medial to lateral, first one that is sympathetic chain. Second one First, posterior intercostal vein. This is a short form, but it is an intercostal vein. First, posterior intercostal vein. Third one, that is intercostal artery, superior intercostal artery. And fourth one, that is the ventral ramus of T1 spinal nerve. Ventral ramus of T1, thoracic number 1 spinal nerve. How to remember that? Chain pulls the one. Chain pulls the one from medial to lateral. First structure, that is a sympathetic chain. Second structure, intercostal vein. First, posterior intercostal vein. Then after that, superior intercostal artery, and after that, ventral ramus of the T1 spinal nerve. So these are the important structure that is related just anterior to the neck of the first rib. So this all about the Viva point of view also important. We should know that shallow groove, which are the structures passing through the shallow groove, which are the structures related anterior to the neck of the first rib, and most anterior part of this first rib that provides again two structures attachment wise. Most anteriorly subclavius muscle, and posterior to that costoclavicular ligament. Costoclavicular ligament. So this is the all about the attachment and relations of first rib. After that, moving forward, after the first rib, the second rib. Now you can see here the second rib, length of the second rib, it is approximately double to that the length of the first rib. Approximately double to that the length of the first rib. The shaft, it is a sharp and highly curved. So it is a C shape, approximately C shape, because it is highly curved shaft. The shaft is not twisted. The shaft, it is not twisted. So both the ends of the ribs touches the table top. When you are placed in table, the both the end of the ribs, it is touches the table. Okay, so it is a second rib. Only single characteristic that is important you have to remember on the second rib is, on the outer part of the shaft of the second rib, it has a rough impression or the rough tubercle that provides the attachment of serratus anterior. Second digitation, first half and second digitation of serratus anterior muscle, that is attached on this rough impression, or you can say the tubercle, rough impression or the tubercle. So it is a C shape. Lengthwise it is a double to that the first rib, and the single criteria wise the shaft is not twisted. Okay, and the single criteria rough impression for the attachment of serratus anterior. So first, second, after that atypical ribs wise 10th. This one is the 10th. In between the first, second and 10th there are typical 3 to 9. 3 to 9s are typical ribs. So what is the characteristic of this 10th? The characteristic of this 10th rib is the head of the 10th ribs have a single facet. For the articulation with the corresponding same thoracic vertebra, only single facet is there. And length of this 10th rib is slightly lower, length is slightly smaller than the typical ribs. Okay, nothing else. After that, after the 10th, 11th and 12th. Now 11th and 12th, the lengthwise it is a shorter ribs. Okay, it is a flat and shorter. The characteristic features and identification wise, again head of the 11th ribs, it has a single articular facet for the corresponding same vertebra, single articular facet. Then it has a no neck, no posterior angle, that is the characteristic of 11th, no posterior angle, no neck is there. And the inner surface, remember here the inner surface of the 11th and 12th rib, okay, inner surface, it is directed upward, it is directed upward. Inner surface, it is directed upwards, and inside it is directed upward and inside. That is the characteristic. So you cannot mistake that either it is left sided or it is a right sided. Okay, even whenever we place, it is wrongly placed in your hand or in your table. So remember this criteria, that is the inner surface. Inner surface of the 11th and the 12th rib, that is directed upwards and inside. Remaining all ribs, inner surface of the ribs directed downwards. Only the 11th and 12th ribs, the inner surface is directed upwards and insides. So, and the 12th ribs, it is a smaller one as compared to the other ribs, and the anterior end of these 11th and 12th ribs is a pointed, very much pointed. Again, single facet for the articulation. On the head, no neck, no tubercle, no posterior angle. So these are the characteristic of 11th and 12th rib. Okay, so this one is the all about the ribs. Thank you very much.